That's a lovely watertight seal. This needs silicone in, this needs gluing, or the PVC pipe would need gluing, and then you're good to go. So let's pull it all back. Do you want to come back over here and see what's going on? So now what we'll do is we'll just make sure that we get that all back in nice and how we wanted it. So that's falling forward, so something needs to hold that just there. Let's just make sure that that hasn't moved too much. Yeah, it's moved quite a bit. Okay. Once the foam goes off, it's not going to move, like I was saying, because of the counterweight. What I should have done really is let it go off maybe. There we go. Let's get some more waterfall foam in here. Now this is fixed into place, what we can actually do is put some more foam and get another stone in up here. But you've got the principle, you've got the idea. I'm happy with it. Yeah, the stone's moved. It's nothing that we can't sort out. What we'll actually do is we'll sort all that out now. So if you had a big void behind here, what you could actually do is backfill it with gravel or fleece or bits of styrofoam or something. When I say bits of fleece, you know, just cut off small sections and then roll them up like a bit of a sausage roll, and then you can just tuck them into there. Let's get another stone. If you get any foam on your hands, obviously I've been touching that stone with foam on it, you can use the cleaner. While the foam is wet, you can actually use the cleaner and you can get it off your hands, no problem. So that's a quick tip. Get some professional foam gun cleaner, and when you're storing the foam gun, you can actually clean it. But you can see I've got that off there, no problem. When it's wet, if you let it dry on your hands, I think, you know, here's some from, you know, earlier on in the week where it dried on my hands. I'm not too worried, but you can see it comes off straight away. If you're not wanting to get it on your clothes or not wanting to get it on your gloves, wear old clothes and wear gloves. So if you don't want to get it on your hands, wear the gloves. But I'm not too worried about getting it on my hands. I live with the stuff. So what I'm looking for now, let's remove this. What I'm looking for now is I'm looking for something to fill this void, but not match this. So I don't want to turret up there, but I want something to fill this space. So I'm just looking at the different combinations. I'm not going to put too much weight on this because obviously we've had the stone fall out from underneath, which I can sort of like wedge back in. Maybe it will hold it a bit better. But this is going to be the counterweight. And you see that undulation. So I'm actually going to possibly have water coming over here. So I'm going to put that in there. See what happens. Probably nothing will happen come up this high because of the amount of water coming out of this box. But if we had a lot of water, if we had 15,000 litres of water instead of 2,500 litres of water, if we had 15,000 and this can cope with 15,000, no problem. This would fill up a lot and then you'd get water coming over there and then down there. But because it's not, then it would flow that sort of height. So I'm looking at all these different combinations and seeing how it sits. I'm probably going to sit it back there. This one doesn't want to sit in. It's probably because of that stone at the back. So another trick that you can do when this keeps moving like that is to wedge something in here and it'll actually stop it. So I might get some more of those bits of flint or and this is waterfall foam when it's gone off, and what you can do is, like I was saying, you can just wedge something in there and that will hopefully stop it from moving. You see it moves? Put a wedge in there and it will stop moving. Now the waterfall foam is not for strength, it's not to replace cement. The reason why I don't use cement nowadays is because if I don't like it, I can rip it out and start again. You saw me rip out the original feature before I built this one. So the benefit of using waterfall foam is it's not permanent like concrete. You're not having to worry about letting it go off for 24 hours or more before switching the waterfall on. You know, in 10 minutes I'll be able to switch this on and have a look and see if I like this. If I don't like it, I'll take it out and rip it out, move this stone because I've not fixed this one in place. I could even move this one. I could start again completely. And that's the beauty, and this is the creativity. Another thing that you could do is to stop this from moving is actually put a stone on the back of it to force it down rather than that little wedge. You could put a splitting stone. Because it's a small pump, you're not having to worry about having this open, so you can actually block it up. I'm just having a look at some more of the stones that I've sort of like got behind. Actually, what I might do is I might have a look at that and see what that looks like instead of this one. So I'm going to just roll this one out the way without moving any stones and see what happens when I put something else in. And that might be better. It's not marrying this up. I can put something else down here. And it's starting to take shape. Now, because this is pegged in with this is pegged in with that, I can foam in the back there to stop water from disappearing down the back. Do you want to have a look at that? Yeah, okay. I don't know if you can see down in there. I'm going to foam all this in now. You might be able to see my finger. I'm going to foam all this in and make sure that that's all watertight. You see a big void in here anyway. What I'm not going to do is I'm not going to fill this great big void and all of this to create a 6-inch opening, but I am going to fill in the void to stop water going down the back here. So if I leave my phone there just in case it is helping you. I'm not too worried about that bit. I'll foam up the back as well. A bit of hair on there, that's not mine. So what I'm actually doing is I'm plugging up anywhere where the water can go to disappear. Disappear down, so it might. It's not going to come down here. It's not going to come down here. You can always put more foam on than needed, and you can always carve it out. Not a lot of people know that you can carve the waterfall foam with a knife. Now you can see that this is all starting to bulge and expand, and if this was a bigger void, you could put gravel down there for structure and then just foam up on the top. Also, what you can do is you can spray the cleaner and knock this back. Let's just give it a gap now, and then what we'll do is I'll turn the camera back on. I'm going to give it about 2 minutes. So now I've waited 2 minutes or so. You can see the foam starting to go off. There's a little bit still tacky. As you can see, it's still trying to stick to my finger, which I'm going to go and clean now. But we'll leave it another minute or so. And as you can see, you know, if you wet your finger, it's not going to stick. Once you've got that skin on, it will stick to the other foam. That's why I'm using different fingers. And you see where I've ruptured that area, it will stick there. But also another thing you can do is, when you're using a thick layer of foam like this, you can actually knock this back with moss. And what we use is we use a type of moss called willow moss, and it's actually aquatic. It grows a lot in the canal locks and stuff like that, and it's called willow moss. And as you can see here, it's a lovely fondless, and what you can actually do, because it's wet, you can actually push it into the foam and wet your finger on it like a stamp, and you can stop it from sticking. And at the same time is you can push this into the foam as it's going off, and then you don't see the foam when the waterfall's going. You see the moss. And the dampness of the moss helps it not stick to your fingers. So as you can see, you've got now moss on here, bit of foam, and I'm going to moss all this up. Let's put you back over my shoulder. So now what we can do is we can foam up some more of this. You see I'm actually going to put a stone in there, I think, because water's going to come out here. It's not going to go back up there because of this bit of foam. It's not going to come, it's going to come down here, but also it's going to come out of there. So I think what we'll do is we'll put a stone in here to stop it from coming out, so it's coming out this side. Do I care if it comes that way? Maybe just a small stone like that. It's still going that way. No, that's going to look odd. Let's try. Every time, if you try a stone and it doesn't fit, then move on to another one. I'm not sure if that fits. You know, this one wasn't necessarily going to stay there because it was supporting that one. But I think, I don't know, it depends on what we do there, I suppose. So playing around with it, you see I've just broken the seal, but that's not a problem. I like that curve, and it's going to drop off there, so I don't really want to come too much. I do want to stop it from going that way. Well, I like that. I like that. As long as we put something in here that's fairly big, the water's not going to go that way, it's going to pull around here. A little bit of a dry area on here. Yeah, I think I'm going to foam that in. So all you do is you just run the foam around where you think the water's going to go. Using the aquatic moss to sort of like place. And where you can get this aquatic moss from is you can buy it online. It's called Frontalis, and you can buy it online. And then once you've sort of like bought a good amount, then you can start cropping it from other water features. But to start off with, then you need to buy some. I think I bought about £60 worth. It's not cheap. You know, certainly you can't just go out into the wilderness and collect moss unless you've got permission. But where you're going to find willow moss, I don't know, unless you're very lucky, unless you've got water features with it growing on already. But you can see, you just take the bit of moss and you can sort of like take it and then just plug it in to little sections. And it does make it look a lot more natural. It makes it age straight away, like it's been there a while. Now I've got a bit of moss on there. I'll just use the moss to take that bit off. It does make the feature look like it's been there a long time and not just 20 minutes. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with the top here, probably another stone. That's where I'm going to go to next. Is I'm going to have a look for a stone that covers this. And this is what I like. This is the fall. It's not here. This is just blending it in. So I'll probably pull this liner back and bring some of this sand, maybe put a plant in there, do this. Now we can look at the edge treatment. So we've got the main falls. We've got the main fall sorted, and I'll switch the pump on in a second just to show you what it looks like. Just to show you what it looks like once this has gone off, but now I'm going to go and have a look to see what I can find for up here and also down the wing walls, if you like, to blend that in to keep that elevation. So what we don't want to do is don't want to create an anthill, and also what you don't want is you don't want a sort of like a volcano effect. So you want wing walls going out and wing walls going across within the liner or without the liner. Cut all this excess off. So I'll start cutting that off now actually while I'm waiting. So as you can see, I've tidied up the edges. I've done a little bit of backfilling. I've brought in a bit of false wood, which is fiberglass that I had on a separate project. I moved the big stone back because I think it needs something, and you know, rolling a big stone next to a number of stacked stones, it just makes it look like it's supposed to be there. I'm going to do some more detail edging, so I'm going to do the edging after we get it running. So should we switch it on? Yeah. So I'm not that happy with it. What I don't like is there's too much water going down here. You see, if I was to block that off a bit more, it starts to come down here, still with that dry patch. But if I take that away now, you see it's a different fall. So what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to take this stone out and put another stone in there to stop it from coming here, or maybe a small slither of stone there. Let's switch that off now and have a play around with this side. But I like this. Yeah, I like that. Let's switch it off. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this one out. So you can start seeing my brain starting to tick now. What I want to do is I want to create a bit more of a sheet fall. So now I'm starting to think about different combinations. And stack up some stone in there. Maybe put that stone back in, but at a lower position. I don't know. It's like that jigsaw. I don't like that straight line. I wanted to create that sheet fall, didn't I? It's a little bit organic. So I don't mind that because it's not a straight line like this, but I think I need to put in another stone there. Let's try it. If we don't like it, we can try again. Yeah, here we go. I've got an idea. So while I'm letting that go off, I'm going to start building around down here. I'm not sure if I like this or not. I think it's too big and too high and too bulky maybe. So what I'll probably do is I'll probably put it down here and create a planting pocket behind it. So I'm going to fill this full of good stuff. I'm going to put another piece of fleece and create another planting pocket. So what we do here, this section here, I'm going to actually put a piece of fleece. And what this does is it creates a damp area, but it doesn't allow the soil to come into too much contact with the water. It's enough to irrigate the water plants, and it's like a damp pocket. As you can see, I'm making sure that, you know, I can put soil on there, and then this log keeps it all in check, and it'll be a nice planting pocket. So this is edge treatment. All I'm going to use today is a multi-purpose compost. Normally if it was a pond, then I would use John Innes or aquatic soil, actually built for aquatic environments, where with this I'm going to put in some different plants, and it's going to look great. So we're just using a multi-purpose compost now here, because it's not in a pond scenario and we're creating a wet pocket. I'm going to put some primulas in here, you see, make it look nice. And this is going to be damp peat. So we've still got the liner underneath. I'll go and get the primulas now and create that damp pocket for the primulas, and then we can work out what else we're going to do while this foam goes off. Let's go and get them primulas. So now I've got the primulas, just push them in. So these are Primula Vialii. Lovely bog primula. Lovely flowers on it, as you can see there. They're one of the last primulas to flower. You know, we're in July and they're still flowering lovely. They need a bit of TLC, but you can buy these from most places. These little pots are about £5, but you can buy them from most garden centres or market stalls. And that just looks great. It's another type of edging. I'm not too worried about what's going on here at the moment. It's just another type of edging. Whether I put a bit of bark around there and disguise this edge. I'm probably going to put some stone here and go in that with that wing wall. Just do a little bit of the 4 Ds, dead, dying and diseased, and then detail. And that's what I'm doing now, is I'm just taking off the 4 Ds, dead, dying, diseased and detail. We'll put some gravel in here as well. Let this go off. Put some gravel in here, finish off this bit of a wing wall. I'm going to put you back on time lapse. We're going to use a product called Foam Free now. The reason why we've got protein in here is because we've got organics or something in that gravel. But if I give it a blast with this, you get rid of that foam.